plots with more species showed less year-to-year variation in biomass. Then increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. What are the causes of biodiversity loss? The present loss is all due to human activity. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 2 of this interesting chapter called Biodiversity and Conservation. Myself B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidhyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in my last session, we studied about biodiversity, what is biodiversity and how the tropical rainforest is having such rich biodiversity when compared to the temperate region, and what is the approximate estimation of the biodiversity on this planet Earth as well as in India. Moving on to the next very interesting concept called species area relationship. Here you can see a graph is plotted with a species richness against area, right? And a German naturalist and geographer by name Alexander von Humboldt observed that within a region's species richness increased with increasing explored area, but only up to a limit. So he observed that the species richness increased based on the increased surface area. And the relation between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxa turns out to be a rectangular hyperbola. Here you can see the rectangular hyperbola. So according to him, the relation between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxa turns out to be a rectangular hyperbola. So what is the species area relationship? According to the German naturalist, who is called as a naturalist, one who studies about nature. So according to the German naturalist and geographer by name Alexander von Humboldt, observed that in a region, the species richness increased with increased surface area, but only up to a certain limit. And the relation between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxa, here you can see the graph here. So it turns out to be a rectangular hyperbola. And it is here you can see this equation. It is calculated by an equation log S is equal to log C plus Z log A. Now let us see what is this. See, here you can see on a logarithmic scale, the relation is a straight line. Here you can see it is a straight line described by the equation. What is the equation? Log S is equal to log C plus Z log A. This is very important concept from examination point of view. This is important. Usually they ask this, what is the species area relationship? Explain it. So this graph is very, very important. So you have to learn the graph and also the equation. So on a logarithmic scale, the relationship is a straight line described by the equation log S is equal to log C plus Z log A, where S is species richness, A is area, Z is slope of the line, that is the regression coefficient, and C is equal to y-intercept. So it has been noted that regardless of the taxonomic group or region, the slope of the regression line are amazingly similar. However, for a very large area like the entire continent, the slope of the line will be steeper. So the species richness depends upon the area, right? Surface area. So it has been noted that regardless of the taxonomic group or region, the slope of the regression line are amazingly similar. However, for a very large area like the entire continent, the slope of the line is steeper. So this is a very, very important concept from examination point of view. So what is the equation? On logarithmic scale, the relationship is a straight line which is described by an equation called log S is equal to log C plus Z log A. What does S stand for? Species richness. A for area, Z for slope of the line called regression coefficient, C is equal to y-intercept, And it has been noted that regardless of the taxonomy group or region of the slope of the regression line are amazingly similar. However, for a very large area like the entire continent, imagine how do you calculate the species richness? Then the slope of line will be steeper. Moving on to the importance of species diversity to the ecosystem. Here you can see the different species of dogs. We have diversified species of dogs and other animals. So here you can see the Shih dog, here you can see the Pomeranian, here you can see the different varieties of dogs. You can see the pug dog, right? So I think all of us know in an ecosystem, the stability of an ecosystem is very, very important. Why? Because even for the human beings, we cannot survive without the ecosystem. Imagine if there is an imbalance in the ecosystem where we all depend upon this ecosystem for our basic needs, maybe like the water, food and shelter. And imagine if the ecosystem is destroyed. So even the human beings also will be equally affected. So it is like give and take policy. I think all of us know human beings always have a close interrelationship with the environment. So we need to protect the environment, and environment is going to protect the human being. So it is like give and take policy. So what is the importance of species diversity of the ecosystem? If more and more species are found in a ecosystem, the ecosystem will be more stable. Less number of species, then the ecosystem will not be stable. So to balance the ecological balance, the species number should be maintained constantly. So community with more species generally tends to be more stable than those with less species. So it's very, very important point to be noted. So community with more species generally tends to be more stable than those with less species. Imagine, like for example, more snakes are there, less number of rats are there. Then what will happen in due course of time? There will be no food for the snakes, and even snakes will start disappearing from the ecosystem. So to maintain the ecological balance, we need the species in a proper stable condition. So a stable community should not show too much of variation in productivity from year to year. So too much of variations also is not good for an ecological balance. So a stable community should not show what? If a community needs to be stable, it should not show much variations or changes, because and that is going to affect the ecosystem. Variation in productivity from year to year, it must be resistant or resilient to occasional disturbances, natural or man-made. I think all of us know we have a lot of ecological imbalances, maybe due to natural calamities, maybe like for example, recently we have come across floods, and because of this coronavirus, where many people are dying. So there is some imbalance in the ecological in the ecosystem. But imagine even man-made also. For example, like if we keep on cutting the trees, obviously it is going to affect the ecosystem. So a stable community should not show too much of variation unless and until disturbed by either it might be for a limited extent, either by the natural or by man-made activities. So stable community must be resistant to invasion by alien species. Yes, of course. I think nowadays we come across many alien species are coming and dominating the ecosystem. For example, like all of us have know about the carrot grass, which is called Parthenium. So it came to India along with wheat, but imagine now it has become an alien species, and it is so very difficult to eradicate it. Even you take the aquatic plant like Eichhornia. It was brought to India because of its beautiful leaves. But now it has almost occupied the water body, so much so that it is depleting the water from oxygen, thereby killing many aquatic animals. So ecosystem should also be able to maintain stability in spite of the alien species. So for example, if the alien species dominate more in an ecosystem, then the ecosystem stability will be disturbed. That should not happen. So even if alien species are there also, there must be ecological balance. Then, according to David Tillman, a scientist, long-term experiment finds that he was of the opinion that plots with more species showed less year-to-year variation in biomass, and increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. So according to David Tillman's experiment, what was his opinion? Plots with more species showed less year-to-year variation in biomass. Increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. So what is the importance of species diversity to the ecosystem? Community with more species generally tend to be more stable than those with less species. But it is not like many of the ecologists were of the opinion that the ecosystem is more stable with more number of species. Less the number of species, less the ecological balance. But accordingly, it is not like that. So it is not, it merely does not depend only on the number of species. A stable community should not show too much of variation in productivity from year to year. It must be resistant or resilient to occasional disturbances. May it be like the natural calamities, or it might be due to man-made activities, or natural activities or man-made activities. So stable community must be resistant to invasion by alien species. So what was the David Tillman's opinion with his long-term experiment? He was of the opinion that plots with more species showed less year-to-year variation in biomass. Then increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. So moving on to the next very important concept called the Rivett-Popper hypothesis. This is a hypothesis which was put across by Paul Ehrlich, a scientist by name Paul Ehrlich. According to him, he compared the ecosystem to an aeroplane. He compared the ecosystem to an airplane. And he compared the species to the rivets of an aeroplane. Rivets means parts of an aeroplane. See, such a beautiful hypothesis put across by Paul Ehrlich, so which is called Rivett-Popper hypothesis. So what did he compare? According to Paul Ehrlich, he compared the ecosystem to an aeroplane, and he compared the species of an ecosystem to the rivets. Rivets are nothing but the parts of an aeroplane. So what is his opinion? So in an aeroplane, according to him, ecosystem is an aeroplane. All parts joined together by thousands of rivets. How is an aeroplane made? Like many parts are put together to make a aeroplane. May it be the cockpit, or may it be the wings, or it might be the wheels, everything. Each and every part of an aeroplane is responsible for the make of an aeroplane, and so that it can, and also it makes it possible to fly in air. So all the parts are joined together to make an aeroplane. So in a similar way, all the species in an ecosystem put together to make an ecosystem. So according to him, aeroplane is an ecosystem, and all the parts that are used to join the to make an aeroplane are called as rivets. So if, for example, a traveler is traveling in an aeroplane, and he starts picking up one by one the parts of an aeroplane, maybe the seat, maybe so one by one. So in a similar way, in an ecosystem, if one by one species is removed from an ecosystem, much ecological balance will not happen. Maybe even in an aeroplane, maybe one or two parts are removed, maybe it is not going to disturb the movement of the aeroplane. But imagine if wings of the aeroplane is removed, then definitely it is going to collapse. So in a similar way, imagine if the species are removed and if the keystone species of an ecosystem are removed, then definitely the ecosystem will be, it will decrease. So that is what his opinion. So let us see one by one what is his opinion about this hypothesis. So Rivett-Popper hypothesis, which was put across by Paul Ehrlich. Such a beautiful comparison he has made. He has compared ecosystem to an aeroplane, and the parts that are used to join the aeroplane and to make an aeroplane, thousands of parts are used. So they are called as rivets, and he has compared them to the species. So for example, if every passenger, so many people travel in an aeroplane. So if each one starts picking up the parts of an aeroplane, imagine what will happen to the aeroplane, right? So if every passenger starts popping a rivet to take home, so they will start taking the part by part of the aeroplane. That means one by one species will become extinct. So if one by one species are removed from an ecosystem, as we know, the more number of extinctions of species will happen. It may not affect flight safety initially. So initially the flight safety will not be affected if one or two parts are removed, and more rivets are removed, the plane becomes dangerously weak. Obviously, when important parts of an aeroplane are removed, then definitely there is a danger of the aeroplane collapsing. So furthermore, which of the wings, here he has compared the wings to the keystone species, very, very important for the ecosystem, is obviously a more serious threat to flight safety. So just like the wings are so very important for an aeroplane, so also the keystone species are important for an ecosystem. So furthermore, which of the wings is obviously a more serious threat to flight safety than loss of a few rivets on the seats or windows inside the plane. Such a beautiful explanation Paul Ehrlich has given about this river popper hypothesis. So what is this rivet popper hypothesis? This is a hypothesis put across by Paul Ehrlich, and according to him, he has compared the ecosystem to an aeroplane, and all the parts are joined by thousands of rivets. So aeroplane is made by thousands of rivets. Here he has compared the species in an ecosystem to a rivets, and if every passenger traveling in an aeroplane will start popping out or removing the rivet one by one, maybe at the initial stage one or two are removed, it may not affect the flight safety initially. But imagine if more and more rivets are removed, then definitely it is going to pose a threat to the aeroplane, and it will become dangerously weak. Furthermore, suppose imagine the wings of the aeroplane are removed, and he has compared the wings to the keystone species, which is obviously a more serious threat to the flight safety. So if one by one is removed, what does it mean? What does it indicate according to him? What is his opinion? That more and more species will start becoming extinct, and obviously the whole ecosystem will be under threat. So than loss of a few rivets on the seats or windows inside the plane. So this is about the rivet popper hypothesis, which is also asked in the examination. Moving on to the loss of biodiversity. I think all of us know day by day the biodiversity is depleting. It is losing its charm and beauty. Why? There is many reasons to quote for the loss of biodiversity. May it be due to natural or it might be due to man-made activities. But one thing is very much sure, that we are losing our beautiful biodiversity day by day, and with the increasing population, with the increased demand for food and space and shelter, I think definitely the biodiversity is depleting day by day. So due to this loss of biodiversity, many animals have become extinct. Here you can see the beautiful picture of two animals, Stiller's cow, this is a Stiller's cow, and this is dodo, a bird called dodo. So all these are the animals which have almost become extinct. Dodo of Mauritius, quack of Africa, thylacine of Australia, then Stiller's cow of Russia, and three subspecies of tiger called Bali, Java, and Caspian. This is a very, very important point from examination point of view, which definitely they will ask. So quote the extinction of animals due to loss of biodiversity. One is dodo of Mauritius, quack of Africa, then thylacine of Australia, Stiller's cow of Russia, and three subspecies of tiger, that is Bali, Java, and Caspian. Since the origin and diversification of life on Earth, there were 5 episodes of mass extinction of species. So the 6th mass extinction is in progress. So how's the 6th extinction is different from the previous 5 extinctions? The current extinction rate is 100 to 1000 times faster. Imagine day by day the animals are becoming extinct, maybe due to man-made activities called anthropogenic actions, or maybe due to natural activities. Day by day the animals are and the plant species are becoming extinct. So it is like more than before, like it has been increased to 1000 times faster compared to the previous years. So all others are pre-human period. This one is anthropogenic. So this is All this is due to anthropogenic reasons. So loss of biodiversity, as I said, if like one fine day the human life is going to be affected, like if we keep on losing the biodiversity day by day. So it is our bound duty to conserve and preserve this biodiversity, where it is it is a place where we are all benefited with many products, and the beauty of the planet earth will be lost if we start destroying the biodiversity. And as I said, many species are going to become extinct. A day may come where, I think nowadays we are seeing elephant, we are seeing many animals. Maybe a day will come where in future course of time, the children will have to see these animals only in pictures, like photographs. Imagine. So hope so that day will not come. So these are the animals which have become extinct. Dodo of Mauritius, quake of Africa, thylacine of Australia, Stiller's curve of Russia, and 3 subspecies of tiger called Bali, Java, and Caspian. Since the origin and diversification of life on Earth, there were 5 episodes of mass extinction of species. The 6th mass extinction is almost in progress. Imagine how, like, day by day the extinction is increasing. So how the 6th extinction is different from the previous extinction. The current extinction rate is what? 100 to 1000 times faster. And mainly due to what? Anthropogenic activities. Anthropogenic means man-made activities. Then effects of biodiversity loss. I think you can see in this beautiful picture. So if you keep cutting the trees and if you start burning the trees, and what will happen? So obviously it will lead to habitat loss. And I think nowadays we have come across due to floods, or it might be due to volcanoes, or maybe due to drought, we are losing the habitat. So why all these changes in the environmental conditions are happening? Because there is no ecological balance. So what are the effects of biodiversity loss? Definitely the biodiversity loss is affecting not only the planet Earth but also the human life. So decline in plant production. Obviously it will lead to what? Decline in plant production. So human life will be very difficult to lead because there will be scarcity of food. Then lowered resistant to environmental perturbations such as drought. See, the more you plant the trees, lesser will be the natural calamities, like it might be drought or famine or even floods also. So lowered resistant to environmental perturbations such as drought. So if we keep on destroying the biodiversity, then we will not have that much of resistance to control the environmental calamities like the drought. So increased variability in certain ecosystem processes such as plant productivity, water use, pest and disease cycle. So we'll not be able to control all those. That is increased variability in certain ecosystem processes such as plant productivity, water use, pest and disease cycle. Now, what are the causes of biodiversity then loss? What are the causes? So we can say 4 very important causes for biodiversity. Hence it is called as evil quartet. Evil means bad. Quartet means 4 reasons, 4 causes, which I am going to explain in the coming session. So what are the causes of biodiversity? Here you can see the biodiversity loss. Biodiversity loss. I think we have come across even in Coorg. There are more number of landslides. Why all this is happening, which was not found in the later days? Why it is happening now? Why it is very common now? And why we are not able to withstand these natural calamities? It is all because of the man-made activities, which is completely destroyed the nature. Then what are the causes of biodiversity loss? The present loss is all due to human activity. Definitely, I think the root cause for all this biodiversity loss is the human being. Human beings. We as human beings, in order to fulfill our needs or demands, we are destroying the nature, we are destroying the biodiversity, in spite of knowing that if biodiversity is destroyed, human beings also will be destroyed, because we all are depending upon the biodiversity for our natural resources. So imagine if there is a loss of biodiversity, definitely there will be loss to the human beings. So there are 4 major causes. So what are the 4 major causes or reasons? They are called as evil quartet. So in the coming session, I'll be dealing with that that is the four causes, that is the evil quartet. That is, I'll be dealing with the evil quartet which causes depletion of biodiversity, and what are the narrow and broad utilitarian of this biodiversity. Hope you have understood all the concepts what I have explained in this particular session of a chapter called biodiversity and conservation. So I'll be back with some more interesting concepts of this chapter. Till then, goodbye and thank you.